But you have gone through a process that many photographers have faced. One, you started a business, but also you moved. You went to a new community to get your business off the ground. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that process. But before that, what I'd kind of like to do is get an idea of how you first came to photography, and then what process did you go through to convert that into a business?
Well, as far as photography with me, my relationship with photography has gone way, way back. My family's from the Philippines, so a lot of the time when I was a kid growing up in the United States, my only connection to the Philippines was through photographs. So I even remember at a very young age looking through photos, and they just had a magical quality about them. You kind of, a lot of the candid shots, I got to see some sides of my parents I had never seen before, and things like that. And then as I got older, I did high school journalism class. And with high school journalism, I had no idea how to use a camera. Basically, the photo editor would take the camera and do the settings for me and then have me run around and shoot. So as far as he was concerned, it was far too complicated for me to understand, and he needed to get the job done, so he would just hand it off to me. And then going on from there, I guess it became a thing, a necessity for me, because I was always in the creative arts. I sang in college, I sang in high school, I was in a couple bands and things like that, and I started using the camera to do the graphic design for our bands and such. So I didn't really super get serious into it until about 2007, and I got my first Canon Rebel DSLR, opened it up, and immediately thought that it was going to be this magic machine that made amazing photographs every time I pushed the button. And I realized very early on that it was probably 1 out of 50 at that one time. So I guess ever since I got that camera, it was an ongoing challenge. I wanted to see how I could get that photo that was in my brain to actually convert through the camera and show up in my LCD. And from then on, it was, I pretty much didn't put the camera down from that point on.
So you got 1 out of 50. I think you're bragging, man. That's my goal.
Well, I don't know. I just switched the knob over. Aperture priority, I discovered that pretty early on. So,
well, would you say getting the technical side of that was your hardest lessons to learn, or was it more the business side? Or
well, I think for me, I come from a business family. Both my mom, my stepdad are entrepreneurs. So it's something that I've always been surrounded by. It's always been that dinner table type of chat. So it's something that I was pretty comfortable when it came to the business side. The technical side was something that was a lot of trial and error. And a lot of the times it was me finding out my own answers. And sometimes that meant scouring the internet. Sometimes that meant going to YouTube. Sometimes I would go to my cousin who was a photographer, but I think like my enthusiasm was so kind of over the top at that point in time that he would get kind of almost worn out by me asking all these questions. So I think that eventually led to me, I think the process would be as I would discover a concept, such as switching from automatic to aperture priority or shutter priority or learning manual, and I would actually set aside time with friends and just be like, hey, can you come over for a couple hours? I just want to shoot a little bit and try something out. So during that time, I was doing that, and I was also documenting kind of my process. I had a blog very early on. And I would type about what I was learning and educating myself in that way. And I think the reflection process really helped a lot in that. Because I could actually post photos that I had taken, review, talk about the photo, what I did, and I think that reinforced some of the technical qualities of my photography.